Jonesy, we did it. 200 of the best. We actually forgot to mention it on the actual podcast.
Yeah, typical because, we're not about the accolades, mate.
No.
We just get in and we do our job for the Drifters. But 200, the double ton.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people in that stratosphere, I guess.
I wouldn't have thought so. Considering where we started, which was extremely poor audio quality, filming off iPhones, I think it's fair to say that this whole setup has changed, and there's a significant reason for that.
Yes, there is significant reason for that. So without further ado, I'd like to thank the good people at Ned's. 200 episodes, wow. Thanks for the support. Couldn't have done it without them, definitely. Not only, are they great at supporting us, allowing us to do what we want to do for the Drifters, we've also got a great app, mate.
Yes. Oh, and tell you what, there's some self-trumpeting going on my profile this week. And I'm sharing to my Ned's profile my $28 ticket of Stormboy and just letting everyone know about it. But I also had traffic warden as well during the week. So, if you're on the Ned's profiles there, you can copy our bets, and we'll no doubt have some from this week's selections as well, but you'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, you'll have to listen. And look, there's plenty of others that we've spec'd at big prices in futures markets. Check out our April futures preview podcast if you want to, have a spec responsibly in some markets for the championships in particular. But yeah, mate, look, it's a brilliant weekend of racing, stacks of Group 1, stacks of stakes races. I cannot wait. And you know what? Next week, you'll be a married man.
I know. Isn't that wild?
It is wild. It is absolutely wild.
But what are you really gambling with? For free and confidential support, visit gamblinghelponline.org.au.
I need to ask you a question. Be curious, Drifters.
Mr. Brightside spins the ball and wins again. Zardozi wins the Oaks for J-Mac. The photo finish. Mr. Brightside or Romantic Warrior. The mare's going. Great guns. Fangirl. Look at her go. Fangirl. Imperatrice has got her. And raced on by Imperatrice by a leg.
Overpass. More Baker's Delight in Perth.
Radina just won it, I'd say. Tom Kedden won the spring champion in a cakewalk. Without a fight, won the Caulfield Cup.
Big Dog, a post-wedding edition of the On the Drift podcast. How you going, mate?
Mate, I'm very well, thanks. Very well. How are you feeling as a married man?
Mate, just getting used to this bling on my finger, you know what I mean?
Big piece of gold.
Yeah, and for your boy who doesn't indulge in that many beers, I feel like I pulled up okay.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you were going silly, mate. Right? I think you were pretty measured. You're on the beers, obviously. It's your wedding, right? But I still think you were pretty measured. Look, we were born. You've got the bling on your finger now. I've already got the bling on my finger. We're behaving in a certain way that ballers like to behave. certain cigars may have been had. Some fine dining. Some fine dress wear. That's just how we operate on this podcast.
Yeah. You said at your wedding that you didn't eat that much. Now I agree. I didn't eat that much at my own wedding either.
No, I didn't eat much and didn't drink as much as what I thought I would at my own wedding as well, just because you sort of just, I don't know, you're just probably running on a bit of adrenaline. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely you do. And it's, I don't know, it's just the photo, I feel like it just does go so quick because you're doing photos, You're meeting with everyone, all that sort of stuff. And but of the cuisine that was on offer, what was your favourite?
Mate, you know what was good? That risotto. Big risotto guy.
Well, you were a bit indifferent of how it looked.
Hey?
You were a bit indifferent of how it was actually presented on the table.
Yes. The presentation of the risotto was bizarre. I'm not going to lie. It looked a bit it looked like a green soup. And I needed a bit of encouragement from my lovely wife, G, to say, no, look, it's actually really good. And I was like, yeah, look, I am a risotto guy. Let me dive in. And I'm really glad that I did.
Yeah, it was good, wasn't it? I don't know if you got any of those like finger foods at the start, but there was like this. It was one that Prue suggested to put on the menu. It was like a chicken tart. It was like a little chicken tart.
Tarte?
Yeah, oh, mate, it was good. It was very good.
Yeah, very good, very good. No, mate, look, it was a great day. I know you were a bit nervous and you just wanted to sort of, get the wheels in motion. But look, you held yourself together well. It was a great day. D floor at the end with all your mates. What more could you ask for?
Oh, mate, that's exactly right. It was one of the great days. We're getting the photos back. We got some photos back yesterday and some more today. So, just up at Noosa, which is why you're dialing in right now on a mini honeymoon, I guess you call it. And gee, hasn't Noosa just turned on the weather, mate? Just 30 mils of rain each day.
Oh, mate. Look, you can't control everything in life.
No, you can't.
Unfortunately, for whatever reason this time of year, and the funny thing is Easter changes every year, but Easter seems to rain every year.
Mate,
it's ridiculous.
Honestly, it serves us right for having a wedding during Easter, but you know what? Maybe we're the dickheads, but that's fine. Mate, you know where it's actually not raining is in Sydney and Melbourne, where there's some pretty good horse racing happening this weekend. It looks like there's both programs are going to be run on good tracks.
Man, who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? Look, if we have a Sydney Autumn Carnival that's predominantly on good tracks, that'll be the first time since we started the podcast, I believe.
Yeah. You're right. Absolutely. There's a soft six every now and then, which you can kind of cop if it hasn't been mismanaged by the track managers in Sydney. But like Melbourne usually plays pretty true. But like Royal Randwick is the one. Like the championships, I can't remember last time the championships was like a good track.
Yeah, 100%. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But you are right. Both Flemington and Rose Hill, good cards today. Look, we were there or thereabouts on the weekend, mate. Like, hold your head high. We were around the mark. So let's just put the final nail in the coffin and just really put them to the sword this weekend.
Well, a common theme that I've seen on the Sydney program is there is a lot of quick backups, which is fascinating.
Yes.
So I'll be interested to hear what your thoughts are. But I reckon let's go to the Australia Cup, mate. Honestly, I could foresee this being a better field than what rolls around in the Queen Elizabeth. I think it's a really, really solid race. Obviously,
it is a solid race.
Obviously, like the difference between the two will be Via Sistina rolling around and the other European mare. But aside from that, mate, this is a really, really solid contest.
It is, yeah. And I think it's just... For all we've bagged the All-Star Mile this autumn, it's been probably a bigger punching bag than what bloody poor Craig Williams has been this autumn, the All-Star Mile. But it's actually set up really nicely for the Australian Cup now with Mr. Brightside and Pride of Jenny clashing again. And obviously everyone saw Cascadian was a good run in that same race. Atishu, the Champion Stakes winner from the spring, rocks up here as well, and she's been found in the market. And then obviously the star Kiwi mare Legato had some interest at double figures too. So yeah, definitely a sharp race. Look, I think the Flemington 2,000 metre start probably gives everyone a chance from their gates. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. I think it is a different setup from what the All-Star Mile was. I think it is advantage Brightside this time. Pride of Jenny, like from that draw, barrier 7, I think she has to do a lot more work early than what she did in the All-Star Mile to find the front. And with her being at the 2,000 metres is it the first time, I believe? She's been there once before for a failure, and she's obviously way classier mare than what she was at that attempt. But I kind of have to see her do it at this distance, and the $3.10 on offer for her, I think that's a little bit short for mine.
Do you agree?
I don't agree, because I think based on her last start performance, like what other price were you going to get? Do you know what I mean? Like I could appreciate not wanting to dive in at those odds, but I also think that based on her last performance being so hectic on the clock, the bookies aren't going to give us anything decent, particularly with the bloody point of consumption tax now. So are you leaning towards Team Brightside, or are you leaning towards something that's going to come from the back?
Oh, mate, I think it'll be run at a genuine tempo, and there's two track distance specialists that I think will win the race, and they're far superior prices. I think you can play around Cascadian and Tissue, and I think one of those two will be winning the race. I've got Cascadian on top. He's $8.50. I think fourth in line of betting. I think that's a silly price. His run in the All-Star Mile was fantastic, and in the wash-up of that, what I did say to you was I want to see if he's won off the back of a really fast run race before, which he has. So, yeah, I had a look through his punting form like profile. So the setup that he had, I think it was that Numerian race. So he beat Numerian and Montefilia, where I think I said that Numerian was Montefilia was the better of the century, and she ran third by about 6 lengths. That race where he won that over the 2,000 metres, he then dropped back down to the 1,800, and he put in like one of his peak performances of his career. I think it was those two runs. It might have even been the lead up into that 2,000 metre race. Anyway, he's basically done it before, and he actually ran a better ran to a better mark in the All-Star Mile recently. So I think he's moving towards that career peak for me at star 53, which is wild. So 2,000 metres, I think it suits him. And then a Tissue, I think in hindsight, what you can do for her is you kind of look at that McKinnon, gives you the ick a little bit. Like Jewis ran second there, Young Werder third, Zaki fourth, like Buckaroo fifth, Prowess sixth. Like there's no superstars in there, if you know what I mean. So I think Cascadian is the one at the track and distance that I want to be with at $8.50. A Tissue into second. I think Brightside's the one I want to take out of the 2 milers, i.e. him and Pride of Jenny. I think he maps to get a better run. But for a horse that has a 50% winning strike rate, which is wild, he only strikes at 25% at the track from eight attempts. So we've said this previously, he's a Moonee Valley and Caulfield horse. I don't think he really gets around Flemington with the same gusto. So I'm happy to risk him at the 2,000, but I still think he'll run a race, and then Pride of Jenny into fourth.
Yeah, I've got Pride of Jenny on top. I keep looking at the race, and I keep looking at the All-Star Mile, and the extra 2 furlongs, have to be a concern. But I know where she's going to be in the run. She's going to be leading, and the good track, Flemington. What we've seen a little bit from Flemington recently, if it's anything like what it was on Derby Day, then it's going to be tough to run down the front runners. I know a Tissue was able to do that, so well found there by you. But Pride of Jenny's different gravy, I think. And from her last start performance, if she puts this field away and runs at the brutal tempo that she did in the All-Star Mile, who beats her in the in races like the Cox Plate if she brings that sort of form. So I'm happy to be with her here. She's only gone to the 2,000 metre once and she failed, but that was on a heavy deck. She was going nowhere near as well. I'm happy to put a line through that. So Pride of Jenny on top for me at $3. Mr. Brightside can win this race 100%, mate. He's drawn really well. Probably stick a bit closer. So just whether he can sort of run down Pride of Jenny over the 2,000 metres. The one who I like at the price is Legato. I know that she failed as a ridiculously priced favourite over in New Zealand over 2,000 metres, but that was a bit of a leader's track that day, so she still ran well, all things considered. And look, gets to Flemington, where we saw what she did at the Aussie Guineas. Wide open track, good deck from the gate. Will settle a bit closer as well. So she's the one at odds that I like. But I think Cascadian's a great bet as well, mate. Would not shock at all. So Pride Jenny on top for me, but I admit there's a lot of other chances.
Agreed. Yeah. It should be a good race, though. I'm liking it. Shall we head to Randwick and preview one of the races of the spring, they're calling it, the Vinery Stud Stakes, 2,000 metres for the fillies?
Rose Hill, sure thing.
Sorry. Rose Hill. Mate, Orchestral v Zardozi with Autumn Angel and a Tutor Levita thrown in as well. How do you foresee this one mapping out?
Oh, man, it's a phenomenal race, to your point. It's just a matter of, do you trust the Kiwi form to be better than the form of all our fillies? And at $1.60 with the good people at Ned's, respectfully, this is not a betting proposition for me. This race, that's just absolutely absurd. I think what were we talking about her in futures markets for this pretty recently? She was still the $2.50 to $3 mark, maybe.
Yeah, and I think the first time we mentioned her, she was about $5 or $6. So that was probably really early days of this season. So that'd be end of Feb or early March. Sorry, I'm thinking even early Feb or mid Feb. I reckon they were saying about $5 or $6.
Yeah. She's got to be on my top selection, Orchestral. I didn't back Zardozi because I'm an idiot, but I did like Zardozi last start over 1,500 meters, which isn't preferable. And she was phenomenal. She put that field away so comfortably that she's clearly the main threat to Orchestral here. But the stable over in New Zealand, is it Robert James and Robert Wellwood or something like that?
Yeah.
They're prowess is trainers, right? And she's been retired, and they've trained a lot of Smarties, and they're we don't know how good this one is, but she's probably the best that we've trained. So clearly have a really high opinion of this horse. Look, I think that the risk you run with Orchestral is, she's gone to 2,100 metres as a sort of lead-in race to the New Zealand Derby over 2,400 metres, where she absolutely put them to the sword, obviously, but that now she's coming back in distance over to Australia, she's been up for a while. Could she potentially be a bit flat end of prep? Definitely, that's a risk. So, which is why she's not a betting proposition, but I'm happy to put her on top with Zardozi clearly being the second pick. She's a really, really good filly. And, she showed us once she starts getting out to these sort of distances, she's incredibly hard to beat. But from that gate, Orchestral, she just showed me in the Derby that she's a cut above, and I'm willing to put her on top and back that here. Do you see the race differently at all?
I think just from a price proposition, I agree. Orchestral $1.60, mate. If she wins, so be it. But it'll be with none of mine on. And mate, $4.20 for Zardozi. That's backable. That's really backable. And then your point about her long prep, mate. That's in the back of my mind too. Not only the long prep, so she's had 5 runs this prep, which I feel like that for a young horse, that's almost your limit. But the way that she had to win that New Zealand Derby, she basically had to lap them all and basically be hard ridden from 600 or 800 from home. And granted she'll be nearly a month between, 4 weeks between runs, so she has that freshen up. But mate, I'm happy to take a risk and back Zardozi, who's third up here, just absolutely looking at the peak of her powers, with Aussie Tom on. I think she's a great bet at $4.20, and just hope the Kiwi mare just kind of doesn't live up to the hype.
Just capitulates.
Yeah.
There's no way at all I'm dialing into $1.60. And like you look at the others, like Automagel's a pretty smart filly, and so is Kimochi, so is Tutor La Vida. But even for single figures for Automangel and Kimochi, like I'd probably steer you clear of those. You'd rather take the $4.20 with Zardozi every day of the week.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a pretty quick Quinella, but even at those odds, that's not really a betting proposition.
No.
Yeah, Automangel, I think. I think she can run a really nice race, and then Tutor La Vida, like I think, she's kind of been disrespected a little bit. Although her colours did get lowered a little bit at Kembla last start, but happy to see how they go there. Now the Tancred. Now we've been there's a couple of acceptances here which threw me off. Because we were talking about, and they weren't in the futures markets either. Post Impressionist and Tom Kitten. So I'm fascinated to hear what you think. 2,400 meters, Group 1 Weight for Age.
Yeah, certainly made the race a lot more interesting than what I thought it was going to be. And it's funny, bloody Arapahoe's not even in this race. He was favourite in futures markets.
Throw Buckaroo in there as well. Like, that goes to show how toxic this market was, because the bookies didn't know what to do with it, because they had Arapahoe for favourite and he's not even in the race.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, on Kitty Cat Tom, would actually spew if he won this race. Would spew. Projectile. Can't have him. I just can't. Particularly at $7, stepping up to 2,400 meters for the first time. Weight for age, draws a wide gate. Was in the worst part of the track last start, but I think he was probably entitled to run better than what he did, or finish off better than what he did. But who am I to take on Godolphin and Jamie Carr at the moment? But that's just my opinion. Buckaroo, fascinating. And he was super in the Ranvet. He came home really nicely. He came home, particularly nicely, I guess, considering how slowly they ran the race. But Via Sistina was just clearly better. And he was also on the inferior part of the track. He's a good bet in this race. But Post Impressionist on the quick backup, William Haggis, absolute bloody genius. Who did he put away? Mandois and Almania. But I don't know. I just think that they don't need to run him here because the Sydney Cup would look to be at his mercy. But the fact that they are tells me they think this guy's come off the plane really, 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 really well, and he's drawing a gate. So I'm with Post Impressionist with Buckaroo being a close second.
Oh yeah, I think this is one of the easiest bets you can have for a long time. Post Impressionist.
Yep.
Mate.
Yep.
Honestly, he's like Buckaroo. I feel like I need to see him do it at 2,400. I think he's, especially with him going from 1,400 to 2,000. I think for him, he's way unders for me, because slowly run 2,000 meters was his wheelhouse last start. Jumping from 1,400 meters to 2,000. Again, he probably gets to slowly run 2,400, but I don't know. That's running 4,400 meters in 2 weekends when and you're only third up. I feel like that's just a lot to ask. But I know nothing about training horses, so what do I know? Post Impressionist easily on top for me. Tom Kitten in for second. You stole my notes, even though we're 150 kilometers away from each other, because I said I would throw up if this thing won as well. Mate, the best roughie in the field is number 6, Gear Up. Now, Jewel Accepted, he's in a race at Flemington as well, but $35 for this horse. Get your Ned's Same Race Multis ready if he's here. Mate, different horse since he's been gelded, and I think the key to him as well is good ground, which he will find. Nash on, crazy things have happened to me.
On a race like this, 100% that could happen. So no, well found. I thought the value pick was Ashrun, the Pakenham Cup winner, just coming back to 2,400 meters. He was just better than those in the Pakenham Cup. Plus a horse with a bit more confidence. doing world of good, drawing well as well. But, Kieran Maher, with anything at this distance, you made the point last week, you just got to respect it. So I thought he was the value runner at $11 for me.
Absolutely, 100%. All right, shall we do the undercard back at Flemington? So race 4, the Thoroughbred Breeders, 1,200 metres Group 3 for the 2-year-old fillies, set weights, penalties. Now, I think you have to wait to the day, in my opinion, to have a bet in this race. So there's 2 clear class runners, but they've drawn the inside and the outsides. They are, on the inside is Amina, drawn Barry 1. If the fence is on, you can back her with confidence. But if the fence is off, you can back the Godolphin top weight, Silmarillion, with Frosty on from barrier 11. If they're making ground down the middle of the track and it's the place to be, you can back that horse with confidence because it has that scintillating form behind Gatsby's, and then ran really well behind Erno's Cube, jumping up a ton in a lot of class last start against the fillies at Randwick. So that's how I viewed the race, mate. Just see how the track's playing on the day and choose one of those.
Yeah, agreed. Amina looks to be a really smart filly based on her 2 wins so far in her career. That gate down the Flemington Straight can be very tricky. Number 11, Durova at 21s, was brought over from the New Zealand Cracker Sales, I'm pretty sure, by Aussie Kier. Sneaky Racing's in the ownership, and apparently Kieran Maher's got quite an opinion of this little filly, so she's a 21, so if you see a bit of money spec for her, it's probably the stable, it's probably the owners just having a little bit of fun, but keep an eye out for her to be running well.
Oh, those owners have been known to shift a few markets from time to time. Race 5 is the Bob Hoisted Handicap, 1,000 metre listed handicap. Now, fascinating runner here. What you need is back. So, don't know if you saw this article because I had a look what was actually wrong with this horse. And I have the quote here from Mick Price that I think we need to run through. The what you need we have now is not the what you need we had who won 3 from 3. He's had tie-back surgery and we can't do anything else other than race him. We'll get a good look at him, but I think Ben Mellon's report on the trial was pretty accurate. He just doesn't feel as good possibly as the horse that we used to have. He's still an end-time, probably that bit heavier. Now, hearing that, and he's the $3 favourite in this race, there is absolutely no way you could have a bet on this horse, surely.
No, unless they're trying to get a better price, he's secretly flying.
Yeah.
but no, you can't. Couldn't possibly bet on what you need. You need to see it. If he blows them away at $3, it's like whatever. So I think there's others that you can bet into here. Yeah,
and the tie-back surgery, it's like I have this rule. If they have tie-back surgery, which is basically to fix some breathing issues, basically I have to see it before betting on them again because I find if they've had breathing issues once, they can have it again, especially for a horse that, mate, if he was having breathing issues and he was blowing away fields by like 4 or 3 lengths, he could be anything, and it's just unfortunate that he's had these issues. So I kind of want to stay out of the race from a betting proposition. I want to see him win and come back bigger, better than ever, but I don't think he has based on those jump outs that he's had.
Yeah, fair enough. On my side, like the 3 that I could see you into are Katsu, number 6, number 8, Vivienne, and number 9, Sans Doute. Sans Doute just built a love affair with the Flemington Straight and just keeps going up in grade and keeps winning. So couldn't talk you out of her at 7s. Vivienne was good, running 3rd last start. Gets back to Flemington, where it's ran 2nd before from 2 starts. Draws a nice gate with Frosty on at $8.50, and then Katsu was in the race with Cumin, who went on to win the bloody Oakley Plate, ran 4th there, beat Najim Sahal the start before that when it was first up. Loves this distance, so at $5, they're probably the 3, if you wanted to have a bet, I could see you into aside from what you need.
Yeah, I did see that with Sans Doute, just track specialist. Mare in form, we've seen the mares in form just absolutely R&P this autumn
With those-
carnival.
Yep, 100% with those Tiaku colours. Anything is possible.
Exactly right. Now, race 7 is the Sunlight Classic 1100 metre listed, set weights penalties. Do you remember who won this race last year?
No.
What you need? Beat Benedetta.
Did he?
Yeah. I reckon
Okay.
we went head to head on the podcast. You were so keen on Benedetta, and I was like, no. What you need's the horse, bruh. And he was. But I'm sure you've had plenty on your side since and before that anyway. But 1100 metres listed. Estriella is back, $3.50. I think that's backable. But I didn't mind the look of Hedged here, number 6. Mate, it was a fantastic return at Flemington. And I think he really appreciates Flemington as well.
Yeah, backed him last start. He was good. Backed Estriella last start. She was good. I think she's a star, Estriella. $3.50, I think that's definitely backable. Spoke about mares in form, fillies in form. She's taken everything before her. She's going back in distance from the 1200 metres, but back to 1100 metres down the straight. Like her last run was effectively a month ago, so it's probably not a bad thing. A little bit of a freshen up. And gate 15, like to your point, yeah, could be the place to be on the weekend.
Mate, I think that's perfect for her because I'm not convinced she actually runs out the 1200. Like, I think her class got her through last start, but this is a tougher contest, this one. Even though that was a massive field, like Kabulis was flying, Roderick kind of failed next start over the weekend. But I think Hedged is pretty smart. Stretton Angel was one of the more fancied fillies in the Coolmore. Iron Unstoppable went around at single figures, I'm pretty sure, in the Lightning. So I think this is a better contest. And she'll have to be just as good to get the job done. But if you're on, I wouldn't blame you. But Hedged at $7.50, a bit more value for me.
Bit of value.
Yeah. Now, really interested to hear your thoughts about this horse. And if you have some inside mail about race 9 in the Lexus Roy Higgins, 2,600 metres listed, set weights and penalties. Any inside mail about the big fella, number 1, Selena?
Look, they're expecting him to run pretty well. Like he's overs at 91s. To be honest, like, and this prep, like, yeah, he's come 8th of 8th and 6th of 7 the next start, but he needs way further than that. And he's just working through his gears. So, like, there's definitely 100% worse 91 shots going around. So, all roads lead to the Sydney Cup for Selena.
Yeah, and I'm just having a look at that Sydney Cup market to see what he's in. Have we moved that market yet? Mate, he's into $26. There you go. So,
There you go.
So we put him out at 51s, and the market has responded. So $91, mate, maybe a prospect for your top 4 on your Ned same race multi. You get an absolute fill up if that thing got up.
Look, if he wins this, he won't be $26 at the Sydney Cup.
Yeah, well said. Dunkel, one of ours, had his colours lowered a little bit in the Pakenham Cup, but he had a undesirable weight there, and the market was absolutely friendless with him. He was about $2.50 out to about $4.
Lost a plate as well.
Yeah, okay, and $6 here. I think that's backable, but mate, Gear Up's here. I feel like he'll be really hard to beat as well.
Yeah, this is a really tricky race because Gear Up's certainly a chance, and Dunkel could bounce back. Mankai Yan has been racing well without winning, and then Mark Twain down the bottom, Kiwi horse. He's been running well over there, and then comes across, and they've got a high opinion of him. So yeah, tricky race. I'll probably have to have a meeting with the victim on Friday, Arby, to have my final decision.
Yeah, no, mate, don't rush greatness, all right? You just take your time. All right, let's head to Rose Hill, race 2, the Neville Selwood Stakes, 2,000 metres, Group 3 for 4-year-olds and older, set weights and penalties. I was really keen on Renaissance Woman here. I think she pops her head up probably once a prep and wins a race, and I think this could be hers.
this could be the one. I agree with Renaissance Woman. Like she was okay in the Coolmore Classic. She finished off well. Look, that's not a distance, I don't think. So gets out to 2,000 metres here. A little bit of a tricky gate, but yeah, look, she's a bet. Look, what's Serpentine done wrong?
Yeah, I know. That was the other one. And like him and Zyrek, I get it. I get why they're like at the top of the market. And Zyrek on the quick backup, like he was only beaten 2.5 lengths to what some journalists in the game are calling the best horse in Australia via Sistina. Please, we need to see a little bit more at this stage.
Lol.
But I think he's in with a winning chance. And Renaissance Woman is pretty much like everyone. This is basically a weight for age race because she's got 53.5. The top weight's got 55.5. So I think if she's good enough, she kind of needs to put her hand up and try and put this field away because I think she is good enough. And she's found 2 soft tracks at her first up runs here. Her form suggests that she performs a little bit better on top of the ground as well. But I think to your point, she's a 2,000 metre horse, I think, at this level as well.
100%. So, yeah, I think she's a bet. But, for me, Serpentine, like he was great first up, and it's not like he was walking. And he draws that gate, so and still well in at the weights. So Serpentine's probably the one I'm going to be with, but I think Renaissance Woman is a bet I couldn't talk you out of.
Yeah, exactly. Well said. Now, the Bailoo Stakes, race 3, 1,400 metre group 3 for the 2-year-olds. If Sel Marillion is here, I think she'll be really hard to beat. But she is weighted pretty poorly here. So she's carrying more weight than she's on level weights with Linebacker, who is the $1.95 favourite, and will be crunched in the size and champagne markets if he goes out and wins this. So I'd suggest let Linebacker go around here, hope he wins, and back him in the size and the champagne.
Yeah, he's by Super Seth Linebacker, who obviously beat Alligator Blood in the Australian Guineas, I believe.
Yep.
Or maybe the Caulfield Guineas. I can't remember which one. But so yeah, his first up win was over 1,300 metres, and as a 2-year-old, looks like he's probably going to end up being more of that sort of mile or 2,000 metre type. So yeah, I'm not going to bet on him this race, but yeah, he could be a prospect for those other features.
Yeah, well said, mate. Well said. The Tulloch, one of your favourite races each year, 2,000 metres Group 2 for the Colts and Geldings, set weights. Typically a lead-up run into the Australian Derby. Now,
yep,
you highlighted this horse, I reckon, in our April futures preview. Well, I hope you did. Tannhauser. So
yep,
he only just got going that last 100 metres in that Zardozi race. Mate, I think you're spot on. He's looking for further, this horse.
He is. And I knew he was going to come to this race, and then I saw the gate that he drew. Gate 16, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Do you see the market support though? He opens 17s and he's into 12s now.
Yeah. Obviously I didn't get on him for the Derby because I'm an idiot, but yeah, look, I think he's worth a spec each way in this. Like he just looks a horse who definitely wants to get out over further. What were we talking about him in the Derby? Like 50s or 100s or something ridiculous. So yeah, Wymark, definitely smart horse, and definitely in easier grades, is beaten up on older horses. So the obvious favourite here, but I'm happy to spec the odds for Tannhauser and put my money where my mouth is, right?
So Tannhauser, he must have been like 51s or 100s, I reckon, because he's into $34, $9 to place in the Derby now.
Yeah.
And, if he overcomes that sticky draw and runs top 3 here, you won't get that price on the weekend. I think Wymark it's the horse you have to back on the weekend. $3.40. His last 3 starts, he's beaten all of has come before him by about 14 lengths. So it's like, you know, he's pretty smart. And he's been doing it against the older horses, drops back to, you know, his own grade where we're not even that sure that these horses are any good. So I think he wins, and he wins well. Oh God, the Emancipation. If we were saying that about Kitty Cat Tom, if he wins, mate, what are we going to do if Valentia wins this?
Oh, die. We might have to resign. This is a tricky race as well, honestly. Hinged, $4.80. Look, she was good in the Coolmore Classic. Is she back well enough to win this, or do you think she just, you know, her 2 runs this prep have been on soft decks and that's helped her?
Oh, I think she's obviously better than what she has been in the last 2 years, but we've seen the best of her on wet tracks. And I think barrier 13, like typically we've seen her run on speed as well. Like it's a tricky start at Rosehill. I don't know. I'm happy to let her around without me.
Yeah, I think so. It would kill me if Valentia won this race, and it'd be just like Chris Waller. Vienna Princess is a chance, but I think Macarena's a good bet in this race at nearly 4s. She's the one with the most upside, easily. And she's been good this prep without winning. I got spanked by Zardozi. But, look, I reckon excuses from that race for Macarena. So, she's probably the bet for me in this race.
Yeah, I think last time Vienna Princess was third up, she ran within 2 lengths of Oban Buramai in the Golden Eagle. I think that form translates somewhat to something better than these. And she's similar to Renaissance Woman. She's found 2 soft tracks at her 2 runs this prep, and she's better on top of the ground. So at $7.50, I think she's a better bet, and I think she's weighted. She gets a weight swing on a few of these as well. So I think she's a good betting prospect this weekend, Vienna Princess. Now, if you thought that race was a bit impossible, I'm fascinated to hear what you think of the Star Kingdom. 1,200 metres, Group 3. Hawaii Fovo, $5. And he is your favourite, $5 the field here. I thought it was, and you have the likes of Coal Crusher, Roots, Shinzo, Airman, Zoo Tiger, Brigantine, Libertad. Mate, it's tough. It's really tough.
Oh, tough. Tough. I'm probably looking for something with a bit of weight relief, right? Like Shinzo as a 3-year-old colt has to carry more than Airman. And I thought Airman was pretty good last start behind Red Card and Libertad, and he's $9.50. Stupid gate though. But Libertad wrote from memory that last start he was racing without cover and still held on to run second. Lightly weighted here, draws a better gate. So I think Libertad's probably my bet in this race at $6.50. Like, would love to see Shinzo or Hawaii 5-0 come out and, you know, really put this race to the sword. Like, that'd be a good result for, you know, our Group 1s and Group 2 sort of later on in the carnival and heading towards the winter carnival. But just for this particular race, I think it'd be a smarter bet to play around those.
Yeah, I agree. I was second up. Airman won on grand final day last year. Gave me one of the great fill-ups of all time. But so he does hold. I have a soft spot for him because of that. But barrier 16, I'm also yuck. It's not nice. Libertad was the other one I kept coming back to as well because, you know, barrier 1, if he gets the breaks, you know, he'll be there or thereabouts. And I've really been unimpressed by the trials from Shinzo as well. So I'm happy. I need to see him do it on race day. I don't know if he's.
This is his prep to, you know, justify whether he's going to go to start or not at the end of it. So he's got a place to start, like Golden Slipper winner out of you know, Schnitzel and his his dam was a Group 1 winner as well. So, like, he's going to be, at Stade Coolmore, and long may he prosper. But whether he keeps on racing this, past the autumn, another question, right?
Agreed. Now, I think there's one more for us to have a look at. Yes, the Doncaster Prelude, race 9, 1,500 metre Group 3. Jeez, they only just snuck in with another wheel. First emergency, there's already been one scratching. So he's in the field. Barrier 4, $2, his quote. So if the market is correct, they're suggesting he wins this 1 out of 2 times. And, his 80th in entry or there or thereabouts in the Doncaster, and he will be in the field, but he has to win this. Do you reckon he'll win?
Oh, look, I think from that gate, that's key for him. Like, I think he wins, but $2. I wish I got that bloody 15s that was on offer earlier on in the week in the all-in market. So I think he wins. Would I be confident enough to dive into 2s? Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I would agree with that. If I was to throw up an alternative, which I like doing, I thought coin toss was probably the other one. Again, Golden Eagle, obviously not like a red hot form reference, but some horses are still coming out and running decent races from it. 3.5 lengths from Oban Buramai. Probably had like one of the gun runs in the race as well, but drops class here and did resume fairly well leading at Canberra as well, under the Waterhouse Bot stable now. So I could see this horse just jump like from barrier 3, just like kind of having that tactical advantage about ahead of another will and being tough to run down. So $9.50 for him.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough. Look, in terms of things I could take to take on another will, like pretty gross form now based on what Amenable did in the George Ryder, but Von Hawk beat him fair and square last start. Weird race. So Von Hawk 16s. Pearson was disappointing last start in that Democracy Manifest race, but I think he just went too quick at the front, so just failed. He won really well the start before, so this is hard of it. He's 21, so but no, look, the obvious one's another will.
Yeah, well said, mate. Well said. Well,
thanks, mate.
My absolute pleasure. I think that's about it, mate. We haven't missed any, have we?
Nah. No, mate, plenty on this weekend. Some good racing. Where are you going to be?
So up at Noosa at the moment, heading down to Moffat Beach on Friday and Saturday. Probably heading back on Sunday, potentially on Saturday. So unsure, but I'll be either watching it on the phone or at a pub somewhere watching it. So.
It's really nice to hear.
Yeah, so in terms of a review podcast, we'll discuss that at another point. But what are you doing this weekend?
Mate, absolutely nothing. Quiet weekend for me, which I'm looking forward to. Then down to Sydney the following weekend for Doncaster Day. So just, this weekend's just all about, just being cognizant of some bigger fish to fry later on in the autumn carnival. So, just taking it nice and easy.
Yeah, mate, take it nice and easy. There's day 1 and day 2 of the championships to come, and then it's Brisbane Winter Carnival. So, yeah, looking forward to it, mate. Easy. Well, thank you for jumping on and, discussing all these races with me and talking about the wedding and all that sort of stuff.
Mate, my pleasure. You might recall the roles were reversed around this time last year. You called me, and I was in Noosa after my wedding, and that was the lead up into the Oaks, I believe. So we've just how the turns have tables. 12 months later, hopefully, just means some good juju for both of us.
Mate, well said. Well said. Well, I'll see you, and we'll have to whether it's on Sunday or next Wednesday, there's a bit of a This is what they call a horizontal tease, drifters, for the upcoming episodes. But Jonesy and my mates gave me one of the great gifts of all time, and that will be revealed on the podcast.
Yes, and where it stays post podcast is still up for debate.
I'm pushing for the bedroom, bruh.
Great to hear. Great to hear.
All right, easy. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate. See you.
See ya.